And we're live! Hello and welcome to the 108th episode of Game Theory Gang. I'm Matty ALLin with Brisology and Tobiwan Hexobi. Welcome.
Hey fellas, how's your week's been?
It's good.
Really
it's
busy.
Good. It's been busy for me too, but good. I can't complain. A little tired, but I'll get a second wind. This always pumps me up to be on here with you guys in the chat. Let's see what kind of craziness comes in through the chat tonight. That's always fun.
Yeah.
I got an ashiatsu massage today. So that's where they use their feet.
Nice.
And it was awesome and also very confusing because there were times when I'm like, that can't be a foot. Is that a foot? Is that an elbow? Is that a shin? But it was all feet. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. So, yeah.
If you've already hit the like button, remove your like at this time.
Take your like away.
It's okay if you guys unlike.
Maybe there's people that are into feet. I don't know.
This is a family-friendly show, Toby. Please.
It's just feet. I like.
Try to maintain.
I'm not being weird. I'm not being weird.
43 OG.
43 OG.
43. There's a. Yeah, right. And you're live. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So, did you guys hear about Hong Kong yesterday?
No.
What happened?
They approved a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF.
What?
For several
Really?
companies. They have several ETFs now for several companies within Hong Kong. I think
Very cool.
It's called China AMC for Asset Management Company. And so, yeah, they're going to be allowed to buy a bunch of Ethereum and Bitcoin and sell it to their customers.
Toby, you have background noise. Go ahead and mute when you're not talking.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's awesome, Brisology. How'd you get them to do that?
Well, I just, I hit them up and I said, yo, I think you guys should start looking into this. Start off with the easy picks, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and in a couple months, maybe we can talk about Pulse Chain. And so they said, you know what, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
Sounds like opportunity is still at our doorstep.
I yelled at the noisemaker, so the noise should be gone. But I didn't yell, but I sternly warned. It's like, hello, I'm online. Hello. But so apparently they're front running like the Western world as far as the ETF stuff goes. That's pretty classic.
I don't know about front running.
Well, if that's the first opportunity for it, is there. You know what I mean? It's like people are hot to trot.
It's pretty bullish that the two most economically powerful countries in the world are, they're going crypto. And eventually, that money is going to bleed into Pulse Chain, Briz, quit talking about the money what the big guys might do.
Well, the big guys got to be big guys because they're smart, so they're going to go where the good opportunities are. And I mean, I think it's a great opportunity. So,
yeah, with crypto, it really is trickle down tokenomics. Like the money that goes into Bitcoin, it overflows, goes into Ethereum, and then those goes into the altcoins, and so it is.
Shout out to the $20 super chat from Nonstop Hex. Thank you for that. The comment is Hex postcards design contest alert. First place wins $800. Toby, background noise. Mute.
Again.
Just 4 days left to submit your design that could onboard the wealthiest people in the world into Hex and Pulse Chain. So people can learn more about that from Hex postcards. I believe they're here on Telegram. Let me try to pull it up here and Make sure we
I
send
should
you to the right place.
I should make a design. I should submit a design.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're good with that. You should do it.
do it.
But that's actually a pretty cool thing where they make the postcards, and I think you can just type any address into the website and they'll send the postcards to whatever addresses you give them.
Really? Right on. I thought you
Yeah.
like went and downloaded and printed them yourself and then did all that, but you can literally just tell them where you want to send.
No. You send money to an address, and they have like tons of designs you just choose from, and then they'll send it to the wealthiest addresses in the U.S. Or you can
Nice.
tell them like hit this zip code or whatever.
Sweet.
I think you
It's
can even
brilliant.
give them specific addresses too. There's this nice line of houses like near me. I want those guys to get hex postcards every week for 2 years.
That's
Spanking.
awesome.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool. That's very cool.
Um,
that is really cool.
And this is one of Richard's favorite things that the community has come up with for marketing. We've had lots of onboards, lots of awareness happen because of the postcards. So yeah, I completely support this. And yeah, get out there, people, and get in the Telegram for t.me/hex postcards. And you heard it here. You have 4 days left to submit your design. And you could win $800. Wow.
Nice. Got a lot of talented people in the Hex community, so I bet there's going to be some cool stuff. I mean, even like the winner obviously will be pretty awesome, but I bet there's going to be a ton of cool designs.
Oh yeah, you can already see it on their web. I think they have a website too. Let me Hex. Do they have a website? I think they do. But you can see all the designs.
Pull up that website, Jamie. Sorry.
Yeah, hexpostcards.com, of course. Here we go. Yes. Now we're getting the full advertisement here.
I like that
Like
little
it.
logo in the top left with the little envelope on it inside the hexagon.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they've come
yeah.
a long way since I looked at this, because it's like I remember in the early days of it, it's like they were sharing digital files of like different designs, and then now they've just made it like idiot proof. This is awesome. I had no idea.
They have a Pulse Chain donation address. The contest ends on 4/20, and you can vote on your top 5 designs, and check out all these designs. There's like 100 different designs here.
Introducing Pulse Chain, world's largest
Yeah.
free airdrop.
Sure.
The
I
sunset
think I
one
actually
always-
got that one before. That one in the center that
The
says
sunset
"Come
one?
win with us."
Oh,
Yeah.
that one. Gotcha.
You must live in a rich place, man. What the hell?
Well,
It is one of the most affluent places in America.
they got the
Yeah.
highest stakes ones. That's cool.
But I live in the
Hey.
slave area.
I was just sharing information about that in the real world today.
Ooh, this one looks cool. Pulse X.
Nice.
Yeah, like that green one kind of pops out.
I designed this one. Like
Oh yeah,
I had the idea to put Richard's tweet on there.
that's
Nice.
cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
get
smart.
out there and
Butter.
vote for that one, people. Yeah. Just keeps going. Let me share
Wow,
this
there
website.
really are a lot of submissions. I like that. It'd be cool if you could just like select any of these and be like, all right, I want to send this to
You
this
can.
dude. Oh, really?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, perfect.
These guys rock.
I thought this was just submissions for the contest.
No, but like if you have $1,000, you can go to Hex Postcards and be like, I want this one for this $1,000, and they'll hook it up. Like if you bring the money, they do the work.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool. Really cool. And they of course they get like the best prices on post. I mean, this is a professional individual who like does this for a living, and they only charge cost to like hexagons. So yeah. There you go. You heard it here first.
Nice.
Unless you already heard it. Eco Builder, shout out to you. Shout out to shout out to everybody who does this.
Nice. So my only, I guess I had a question. You know, I was kind of hoping ChrispyMan would be here because I think he would have a lot of insight. And so my question is, do these ETFs actually slow down progress? Because the question in turn becomes, the ETFs buy up some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, and then they get their customers to come buy what they're holding, and then they maybe sometimes they rehypothecate it, which means they sell one Bitcoin to two different people, and as long as they don't both pull out at the same time, you know, you're all right.
Well, look,
It's kind of like how they manipulate the metals market.
Yeah. You know, there's enough crypto held outside of exchanges and held outside of middlemen that I think we're okay. Maybe they think that they're going to get a handle on it, and maybe they can, but I think the future is what we make it. I think if if Richard or any of the other Bitcoin OGs, if any of them are holding as much Bitcoin as we think they are, then we're good. As long as the more liquidity, the more they can rotate into other things. And you haven't seen that yet this cycle, where Bitcoiners are rotating into Ethereum and Ethereans are rotating into other stuff as much yet as you have in past seasons. But that's because normally you get a pre-halving, a pump, and then you get a dip, and then you get the mother of all pumps after the Bitcoin halving, which, by the way, is coming up probably in the next week, probably in like 4 days on 4/20. The number of Bitcoin per block will cut in half. What will we do?
And just real quick before we get on to that point, Falcon Crypto, you're right. There has to be regulations against that. But I don't know. They always seem to skirt the regulations one way or another, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a common financial practice to rehypothecate funds. Like all the funds in the stock market are owned by tons of people, and it's like, a big problem with middlemen controlling the keys to everything. Not your keys, not your cheese.
Damn.
What's up, SJ?
Middleman.
SJ appears.
We have a hero in the chat.
Yeah,
Toby, your volume seems very low.
very low. Okay, turn that back up.
Very low. Bitcoin halving happening in just a few more days, huh? What do you guys think about that?
I think. What do you think, Briz? You're a old school Bitcoin guy. I mean, it appears to me like the chart is such that it looks like they're front running the halving a bit with this pullback. It looks like we kind of peaked early. Like usually there's a run up into it, and then it kind of starts to pull back after the halving. Looks like we've already had a pretty good pullback ahead of it.
I completely agree. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. It looks like all the previous things are happening again. So from my previous experiences watching multiple halvenings, this will be my fourth halvening. And in the voice of the architect from The Matrix, we are getting exceptionally good at it. But
All right.
usually what happens is 6 months prior to the halvening, we get a big bump up in Bitcoin price. And again, I'm talking about Bitcoin, but this all leads back. It all trickles down into Pulse Chain. So 6 months prior, you usually get a big jump in Bitcoin price. And then it kind of does like a crab walk for 6 months until the halvening. And then the halvening will happen, and everyone's like looking at each other and like nothing's going on. The price doesn't shoot way up. And all of a sudden one guy goes, sell. And then the next guy goes, dump. And then the next guy dumps it, and we get this like fall, a dump after the halvening. And so far, it looks like it's kind of played up. Bitcoin went up to 70 grand. Now it's kind of like trickling, sideways downward just a little bit. And I expect probably another dump after the actual halvening, probably within the week. Is just my guess. And then by the end of the year, when the markets really start pumping up again, I think we'll see a much higher valuation for Bitcoin and probably Ethereum and probably everything else too, Pulse Chain and all of our favorite assets.
My quant Steph is just said 19 hours ago, Bitcoin is now at 62.5K. He thinks it should hit 57.5K by April 21st, then bounce back to glorious levels a few weeks to accumulate cheap crypto DCA. But still watch out for the broader macro moves, because the S&P index topped on April 2nd. So look, Steph has been calling stuff down to the hour for fun. He's gotten 5 calls right and 1 call wrong. So insane accuracy here. Really, really wild. So
it's really, the funny part is it's I think he has been exceptionally good at that. It's I think he just doesn't get confused by all the noise and the other narratives and stuff. And it's if you just kind of stick with the facts and the history, it's it's really pretty obvious what happens and when and for how long even, and I think that's where Richard excels too. It's he doesn't get, pulled hither and thither, by the emotions of the market or the media spin or any of the other stuff, which can, make people say things like $1 million Bitcoin, which isn't outside the realm of possibility. But I think, as he called, what was it, 240K? That's a reasonable, that's what, a 3.5x from the previous all-time high. So not a bad call. Seems reasonable.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
And again, it kind of seems like I kind of predicted Steph's tweet right here, where I said it's gonna tank a little bit, by roughly the April 21st ish. I don't know when it's gonna tank, but it feels like usually right after the halvening happens, the price doesn't shoot up because it requires buyers. And when no one's buying, everyone's just looking at each other. And then all of a sudden people just start dumping because it's not doing anything. And so, yeah. And then there should be probably, I'm guessing probably months of sideways down action. And then eventually in probably Q3 or the end of Q3, it's probably going to really, really pop off, really go pretty good.
I hope so. Fox Mulder is asking what Steph uses for his predictions. I feel like I've had to piece that together from replies and stuff, but I think he has an algorithm. that compares crypto markets to the S&P and like has been running for so many years forward looking that he trusts it better than something that's solely back tested only, because when you back test something, it doesn't necessarily predict the future. So yeah, there you go.
I would just say
S&P.
my warning, my warning for everybody is that it's not gonna feel like anything's popping off until later this year. Like, I know we've all had this like crypto winter and our portfolios are getting beat up. Honestly, we're probably not gonna see any daylight until the end of the year. So don't lose hope. It's gonna be all right.
That's a great message.
Yeah, because everyone's gonna be like, "What the f? Why isn't everything popping off? The Bitcoin halving just happened. Bitcoin's at all-time highs, and we're just like sitting here with our thumbs up our butts." And personally, I don't know, just a gut feeling. I don't really expect Pulse Chain to really start popping off until Ethereum starts popping off. So when we start seeing that $7,000 Ethereum, that's when we should really, I believe, start seeing through liquidity bonding.
Well, and
Yeah,
I think too, the
taking off.
timing lines up very interestingly, right? Because it's like what, October 24th, Maddie, with the meetup in New York.
Correct.
You know, as things start to kind of like even on the, I think some people call it like the left leaning chart, or I forget what it's
Left
called, like
translated cycle.
left translated cycle. So I don't know if that's what I ended up doing or not, but it's like months ago, I just noticed a pattern and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and like put this fractal over top of everything else.
Wow.
I was like 3 or 4 months ago, I was telling people like, I think we could hit 74,000 by the halving, and everyone's like, that's insane. And it's like we hit 73,835, I think. So we just barely
Wow.
missed it.
Good job.
And then typically it's like you get about a 40% drawdown from the top after the halving. What's interesting is like a weird EMA that like Crown Crypto used to use is the 377-day EMA, which is not one you see a lot. However, it is the bottom of my rainbow of EMAs right here, and a 39% pullback would take us right down to that, which is also some previous support and resistance around 42,000. So it's about another 20% dump from what Steph is calling. But just like we had this over exuberance going into the halving, and we're already starting to sell off a little bit prior to the halving, I think it's a function of how many people now know the narrative and how many more big players know the narrative. So I think that's where those things start to happen sooner, and maybe not as much volatility, right? I mean, it just, to me, it makes sense. Like, why would we be selling off already when you don't normally sell off till after the halving? Because people are expecting it to sell off after the halving, because now most people that are paying attention at all know that, right? So they're just getting out now because they think it's going to dump after the halving. So they're getting out a little early. And then, so I think that that's what's going to happen. And then also because they're expecting a 39% drawdown, I don't know that we're going to dip that hard this time. You know, maybe it's like Steph's saying, it's only like 20-25% from the top. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, it's going to be fun. But I agree with Briz on the sideways crab walk. That's exactly what this fractal does. And it starts to move in August and then starts to work its way up into September. And then there's a little wiggle, and then boom, it starts to take off. And that's basically a fractal of the last bull cycle where we had the double top. So we topped in April, I think, of last year, or last cycle, and then again in September, I believe. So it was like, about 5 months apart. Same deal, topping early, and it stays up at that levels, which we have now for several weeks. Sideways and down for several months, and then come back up, and then obviously onward and upward from the second top of the fractal, and so that's putting you into November, going into Q1 of 25, which is what everyone's kind of expecting, like Q4 of 24 and Q1 of 25 is like full on bull rager. So, and then if we get good news, which I anticipate we will in October, then that's just gonna pump things just for the sheer exposure of it, right? Because it's gonna be newsworthy event. we see that highest of stakes is on Arab Emirates Airlines all over the place now.
Whoa, jumping around topics. We're not there yet.
Not there yet,
We're
but
not
yeah,
there
but I mean, just a case in point, like all of that's going to bring more attention on Richard Hart. and the
Spoiler
ecosystem.
alert.
And I think people like us that know about it are going to kind of do what we've seen people do with front running what they're expecting Bitcoin to do, right? So the smart people, I think, in our community understand where things are headed. So I think, we could, people are like, oh, when Bitcoin pulls back, and I was even saying that, it's like, it's a pretty good chance it's going to pull us down too, but maybe not. Maybe there's enough people that kind of understand the trajectory of where we're at, and maybe we're closer to the bottom than we think. And, and then we start edging our way up. And then last point, if you look at XRP during the bull market while they were under investigation in the throes of the case with their case, 6x. Did a 6x. So it's like, and that was before any resolution, long before any resolution.
And the founders were
was,
dumping billions of dollars.
Yeah, right. And they still
Yeah.
did a 6x. And that was just on the strength of the underlying bull market. And, like
Cool.
to quote Richard Hart, even shitcoins pumping a bull market, so I think we could see some upward movement, through the summer months, in the Pulse Chain ecosystem, and then really start to sink our teeth into some wild green candles come fall.
I've heard we've had a very heavy weight lifted off of the Hex chain. The Hex coin.
Before we get into that, I was just going to mention quickly that Steph is getting ready to launch a token in a month or two, and it's of interest mainly because he's a whale in crypto, in and out of Hex, and it's called Green Candle Technology. So it's going to reward people for buying red somehow. And so this is, one of the reasons that I'm so interested in Hex is that it allows you, it rewards you for changing your behavior. By time locking, you commit to something. And, then Steph's thing might be doing something similar where it's not copying Hex, but it's doing something unique, and it's rewarding people to change their FOMO behavior and FUD behavior. And then, of course, you guys will probably hear in the next week or two some big updates from me on a new protocol that I'm going to be launching, a DeSci type of thing that
DeSci.
Yeah, decentralized science.
Right.
A really big narrative, and my focus will also be helping people to improve their behavior in a big way. And Steph and I will battle to see who can make the world a better place, and Richard can play too. So. Toby, muted.
Were you inspired or influenced at all with Richard's CFD token from way back in the day that he was thinking about before Hex?
I've revisited that website recently,
Yeah.
and noted several name changes that occurred in Hex before it was called Hex.com. It was called Hex.win, and before that it was called Bitcoin Hex, and before that it was called what now?
CFD token. It was the
CFD.
computational fluid dynamics, and it's like
The
very first computational fluid dynamics,
Yes.
CFD. So the very first YouTube stream I ever saw of Richard, he was on with Doug Polk, and it's like, I was a gambler, Doug Polk's a card player, so it was like a perfect storm. And then there's this weird guy with a top hat. I'm like, I'm going to check this out, and I was really taken by how genuine and like altruistic he was in his desire to like make the world a better place and like do something in crypto that could do that. So what was really compelling to me about the CFD token idea, and I don't know if it's still viable, if someone's going to pick up that torch and run with it at some point, but he was talking about like all the wasted energy that's at the ready with computational power out there. And there's all of this research being done at universities and hospitals and think tanks and you name it for scientific endeavor, that using blockchain technology they could utilize that computing power to help drive their
Fold
data collection,
proteins, right?
Yeah, all of it. all of it. So it's like it just seemed like really cool idea, but I mean, I think where it kind of pivoted over into ultimately becoming Hex is like it was going to be a hard thing to like. It wasn't going to be necessarily full of pumpamentals and tokenomics and all those other things. It was like it was too kind of, I don't want to say boring, but it's like it was it's academia, and that's a hard one to. I mean, Maddie, it's like it's a challenge to get. The things that you're doing, and I think you're doing a great job with Time Pays Me and other endeavors that you've spearheaded to help affect behavioral change, which is science, right? And it's like to do that with crypto is a very unique mashup.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah.
Fun fact: the CFD website is still up with like 200 slides that Richard probably wrote himself, because at the end he uses a smiley face in a way that only Richard would. And so that's interesting. That's a fun fact that website never got taken down for CFD token.
What does that mean? What smiley face does he use? Does he use
still
the
have the
8 for
bookmark.
eyes?
Ancestor.
I
The
still
ancestor
have the
of Hex.
bookmark, but my bookmark doesn't work. Was it called cfdtoken.com?
I don't remember how I got there,
looked
but
in my Richard Hart folder and I found a link for
here,
it. I'm like, oh, no,
it's cfdtoken.com.
Okay, why am I not? It's saying they're having trouble pulling it up.
Check it out.
He's watching and he pulled it down while we're talking.
I hope so. I mean, or maybe not. Like
He's like, oh shit, I
just
forgot to take that
FYI.
website down. It's like, thanks for reminding me, Toby and Maddie and Briz. It's like,
Yeah, it's not working for me either. Maybe everyone's just bombing it.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe it got taken down in the past week or two. Interesting.
That'd be
okay.
cool if you picked up the mantle on that somehow, because it's like I think there were some brilliant ideas in there, and like obviously it evolved into something even cooler, in my opinion, with Hex. But Richard's a pretty dynamic individual. It'd be neat to see him come up with something back to kind of his original idea.
I think what I'm working on will surprise you all and make you very proud.
But will it make us rich, Maddie?
Did I mention there's no token?
What? But how can I ape? How can I sell everything else and buy? How can I?
Maybe it's so useful. Maybe it's so incredibly useful to people in and outside of crypto that it still becomes incredibly popular. And
you're talking about
people have to get paid. If you want them to do something, you have to pay them. That's contingency management. That's the basis of what I've been trying to build in crypto for 8 years. So,
love it. Love it.
Next week or two, like stay tuned. If I do a special stream, tune in. Turn on the bell notifications for once in your life. Like, now's the time.
And tell Steph to unblock me, damn it. It's like, I think he was getting so much heat, like around the time that, the Staker app was going down and having some issues. I think he went on a mass blocking spree because we were good. Like, we were still chatting on Telegram. And then all of a sudden it's like he blocked me on Twitter. And I'm like, what? So I think it might have been a mistake, because it's like, why would you talk to me on Telegram if you are blocking me on Twitter? I didn't get it. But it's like, I mean, and plus it's like, I love a redemption story, and people were so writing him off for, the app going down. And hey, it's a business, right? It's like sometimes businesses succeed, sometimes they fail. That's part of the nature of it. He made a valiant attempt. He made some huge improvements in onboarding the league system that he came up with. I mean, that's been co-opted by frickin' everybody now. Some really, really innovative stuff. And it's like, and it was sad to see it go as an app, but what did he do? He stuck to his word. He's got the website out there. I've had onboards that were panicking that now are in love, because it's so easy now, and they can actually go claim their Hedron now. It's like, the things
really
that you did before. Yeah. So it's actually like an upgrade, right? Like it's no longer an app. And you can claim your Hedron on your Hex stakes. So much love to Steph if he happens to watch. No hard feelings if I was ever too critical on Twitter, but maybe. And then sometimes with the language barrier, like jokes can fall flat. So, but nothing but respect for Steph, and I'm glad to see that he's doing something positive.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
Very interesting experiments here in crypto, all around. So, yeah. That's cool, and I do have an image brought up here for Toby. This is big news. You're involved with this. Can you give us the inside? Can you give us the skinny?
That looks so photoshopped.
Okay,
but
here's
it's
the
not.
deal. It's not. It's legit. Like, here's the thing. I knew, like, we weren't allowed to talk about it. Like, we were told that there was going to be some international airlines. Delta was thrown around there, like on
Oh,
some of their
dude,
international
you
routes.
guys definitely talked about it.
We talked
I knew
about it
this was
eventually,
coming.
but we weren't allowed initially to talk about it. Like, it was like,
But
this is in the works, and then we got the green light, and then we talked about it.
so, did you guys know that everybody going to Token 2049 was going to see this?
That I did not know. I don't think any of
No.
us were told that. I don't even know if Pat had anything to do with that.
There
I-
were tons and tons and tons of people I've never seen in our community who are not in our community who are posting, haha, you guys are brilliant. You got us all on our 16-hour flight to watch a crypto movie because it was like the screensaver for the entire flight. Right now, everybody in the United States who's involved in crypto is going to one of the biggest crypto conferences that exists called Token 2049. I believe last year it was in Asia, and this year it's in Dubai. And so all these people stuck on this 16-hour flight. I know that there was one guy, I was speaking in a Twitter Spaces. I've been like a recurring meme coin guest. I've been going in front of 4,000 people like 2 to 3 times a week. New people who
Nice.
don't have any idea.
Very
And
good.
speaking, and those are just the people that are live. One of the spaces that we did had 125,000 people who tuned in on replay. And these are all people, they're in crypto, but they don't know about Hex and Pulse Chain.
Wow.
And I'm in there, and one of the co-hosts, you know, I'm like soft chilling, so chill, like I'm not being annoying, so I get invited back. And now they know me and they like that I talk about, like, you know, whatever they're talking about. And but I told him, I was like, hey, there's this, you know, if you're flying there, there's this movie, you know, check it out. And the co-host like friended me, sent me a DM. It's like super excited about it. So the community's been backing me up by, like, you know, if I'm bragging about telling a lot of new people, people are liking it. And then the Twitter Spaces people see that, and now they want, it's just going super well. That's all I can say.
Great.
And you know, if it wasn't for everybody in the community, if it wasn't for Tobiwan making this movie in the first place, like, I don't think the word would be getting out quite like it is right now. And this is all we need, is people to pay attention and write it off, and then they'll have regret later when the price pumps. We don't need people to go back and say, oh, look at how bad the price was. We want people to watch the highest of stakes now, bookmark it in their mind, be like, oh, that community is so wrecked. And then we keep coming up over and over and over again until, oops, we flipped Bitcoin. Okay, now they're going to buy in.
Yep, exactly. Well, same thing with the COVID dump on Bitcoin. It's like there was so much news about it, and people were like so concerned. Like, I had people calling me. I'm like, I'm not even in Bitcoin, bro. I'm fine. And it's like they're freaking out. And it's like, but those same people FOMO'd in at the top, you know. And it's like, no. It's like, and so I think a similar thing will happen here. The smart people will be like, hey, that's, you know, there's some opportunity there, right? And what I love about the movie, for people that aren't in Hex or Pulse Chain already or not familiar with it, if you look at it, like, it's a little difficult as a Hexagon, but if you can zoom out a little bit and imagine you're not, imagine you don't have any affiliation. It's a cool story. I mean, it's a really compelling story just throughout. I think that the documentarians did a great job with that. But it is a really good example, in not a heavy-handed way, of what DeFi is, right? I mean, it's like it talks to you about, like, especially in the Pulse Chain portions, about how it's taking, you know, it's an adjunct to Ethereum. It's taken some of the traffic off of Ethereum. Like, those graphics I thought were really brilliant, the way they did that with just like the little cartoony like car lanes, right? And just made it really simple for people to understand like what's going on. And it's a great introduction to DeFi, because a lot of people think, like, you know, all crypto is the same. Like, they think Robinhood is crypto. They think, you know, Coinbase is crypto. It's like, no, there's a whole other world that is a way better way, because, like you said, not your keys, not your cheese, right? So I love that this is you know, getting some attention on social media. Hopefully there's some people that, you know, come away from that flight, you know, thinking more than just like, wow, that was a crazy story, and like dig deeper and want to learn. And, you know, obviously welcome to the community if you're one of those people, because it's like this is a great place to get information, and we've got so many good resources in the community to like continue to educate yourself. Because I think I mean, I feel like I've said it so many times, it's like it almost feels disingenuous to say it again, but it's like DeFi is the future. DeFi is the future, and it's like there's going to be forces at play, CBDCs that are gonna want to, power does not get given up easily, right? It's like look at the presidential look at the president's office in the U.S., right? Every administration ends up with more power than the previous administration. Now they complain like, oh, that's too much executive power, too much executive power. But when the next president gets in, even if he's of a different political party, they don't give any of those powers back, right? They keep those powers and they add even more on. So it's people with power want to stay in power. So if fiat currency around the globe and those people that are manipulating that and controlling it and the flow of money and the flow of information, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight. It's not gonna be an easy battle, but it's like I really feel truly, genuinely that it's kind of the last bastion of freedom. Because if they get your information, which they're already doing, and then they have control of your money and they can turn it off at will, what do you do? Like literally think about it. Think about those truck drivers in Canada. Like, what do you do if they just turn your access off to your money?
That happened to me.
Yeah,
I got my PayPal turned off for life because I was selling Bitcoin miners on eBay.
Oh,
like
that's
legally.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then your
so
bank,
like
you had problems with your bank too, and it's like I have problems with my bank. They won't let me send to Coinbase. They're like, nope.
The corrupt SEC. So we already live in a world where people are accepting not having control over their money. I made the observation that look, over half of Americans, they don't have $1,000 in their savings for an emergency. That's because they're not using money as a store of value because inflation sucks. They're literally just spending all the money as soon as they get it so that you get the cheaper prices today instead of the higher prices tomorrow. So like, that's why we need this Pulse Chain conference. That's why we need this community to like, we're poking ourselves with a stick, like do something. It's like we need to do something other than just waiting on Richard to pump our bags, which is like that's not very like DeFi.
Dude, we were
but
grinding. Think about the early days of Hex. We were all out there grinding, educating people in real life, one-on-one, onboarding, teaching. It's like that's what it comes down to. And
I still am. Actually, I have a meeting with someone for lunch tomorrow who I'm onboarding.
That's awesome.
You guys are awesome
Stop.
examples
And it's
of community
it's
members.
Yeah, it's like I'm not going to break my arm, pat myself on the back, but it's like I just believe in it that hard. And this isn't about pumping my own bags. This is about giving people options, right? And it's like and letting them, even if they don't go hard, like now they understand. And then as things start to go sideways, they're not brand new to all this. And I think a lot of like you're saying, the majority of people don't have $1,000. Well, I think it's more about the people that are in crypto and there becomes a new 1%ers, right? The loon birds. And then we can see real changes start to happen globally, right? Because it's not the same old blue blood money that is in control of everything. You got some crazy crypto guys that are now, not rubbing shoulders because I could give a shit about hanging out with those kind of parties, but have the power to impart real change, have money and influence and clout to like put into things that are not war, that are not famine, that are not control of people. It's, to make a better world. And then that I think will prompt more opportunity for those people that in the current system don't have $1,000. We shift things around to where those people have real opportunity going forward.
Yeah. So I would argue that we're starting to see this happen where we are entering a second wave of the Hex and Pulse Chain community being real DeFi. And we see it with the postcards earlier in the episode. We see it with Brisology and Tobiwan out there onboarding people still after 4.5 years. You guys are still kicking ass. You got Trade Mode James out here who onboarded somebody, a poker whale that he met over the weekend who has more Ethereum than all of us combined.
Nice.
You've got the highest of stakes making a giant comeback. Now, look, the price isn't pumping right now. because people, they watch the movie and then they're unimpressed. But I'm telling you, they're going to remember how they didn't buy when they hear about it next time, and it's not a joke. And it's, oh yeah, I did see an action documentary that kicked ass, and I had they're going to think that they had a chance to buy, but they didn't really have a chance to buy because human psychology is so backwards. Their brain in the future, when the price is higher, is going to tell them like, oh, you could have gotten in and you didn't, which is going to make them want to get in more later on.
I just want to mention on this, an easy way to 10x the community is if everyone goes and onboards 10 more people. If we could each onboard just 10 more people, we could 10x the community.
I mean, start off with with one or two people, because if you double the community or you 4x the community, you go to the power of that for the price. So if you double the number of people, then you 4x the price. If you 4x the number of people, then you 16x the price.
Well, and you don't know who your onboard's going to onboard, right? So that's the ancillary effect of all that. It's like, you get a guy that's just saying, I don't know about all this. It's like, I'm not sure about hardware wallets. I'm not sure about pulse chain bridging. Just get me into eHex, whatever. It's like, I'll try a little bit of that. And then they kind of like get their feet wet. And we had a short period of time where maybe that was not great for them, right? But now it's like, it's kind of stabilized. So maybe there's still people, and I have them honestly, that still just want to get into eHex to test the waters. And I tell them, I don't leave out, hey, there's another hex on Pulse Chain, and here's why, and then the Pulse token itself, and then there's the exchange token, and then you can farm it. And so I give them the whole spiel, right? And then, there's a subset that will go that next level. But it's, I've noticed lately, it's like a lot more small dollar value guys. I mean, I had onboards that were 6-figure, like, people, right? Lately, it's like, somebody that's got $100, but it's like, they're going to see the potential. And like you said earlier, Maddie, it's like, they're going to be like, damn, what's going to happen invariably is they're going to be like, man, I wish I'd put $1,000 in instead of 100, when it goes apeshit. And it's like, and then what are they going to do? They're going to buy at a 10x from here, They're
going to buy the top, and then they're going to stick around for cycles to come, just like all of us did.
Yep. Well, we're teaching them about staking, right? It's like we're teaching them about DCAing without adding extra fiat by staking and like farming and other options to like make the downside less brutal. Right?
Look, my first buy was $20 in 2016.
Wow, for Ethereum, right?
Yeah, it's who cares?
My first buy was $5. I was like, here's $5. Let's see how this goes before I put in more money.
All of us have put way like many, many, many figures more into it since then.
Yes.
So
a little bit. Yep.
Start small. That's okay.
Yep.
Onboarding people is like, great.
Yeah, and it's like I was talking to someone about this today. It's like, I'm not going to use real numbers here, but it's like I'm like, chances are you're looking at someone who on paper lost more money than you ever could imagine. And it's true. But the thing is like, and I explained to them, it's like, but it's locked. It's earning all this time. I mean, I've talked publicly about the 20 million hex that I had coming out at the top, and I staked it. And it's like, and now I've got a duplicate on Pulse Chain. So I've got that same stake on Pulse Chain. And, and it's like I think it's over 50 million hex now, each of those stakes since 2021. Because of all of the appreciation, or not the appreciation, but because of all the yield, all the hex that it's earned. So, do those stakes need to get back to 52 cents to be the dollar value that they were then? Nope, sure don't. And it only gets better, because it's like, as I get more and more yield, more and more hex, it's like that price target comes down as far as just being back to that dollar level, which was $10 million, in case people aren't paying attention.
Try to leave some meat on the bone, Toby. But
I'm not selling, dude. I'm not selling. There's no way. It's like, you got Hedron. So I've got that. You got Icosa. You got, and how many more airdrops are going to come when the bull starts kicking off?
Hook it
to
up.
The Mexican community. Yeah, it's like there's no reason. Like, and I mean, I've said this before, and I'll never stop saying it. There are plenty of OGs that, because of these other things, will there's a strong likelihood that they would never, ever, ever have to sell any of their hex.
Brisology. Did you have a different topic, or did you
I don't
forget what
know.
you were
I just wanted to
saying
know.
a second ago?
I just wanted to know,
Sorry, I
is
was on a rant.
Danny boy
You're good.
trolling me? Is this guy trying to troll me?
He winked
You're not
in
gonna
a
get a
subsequent
rise out of
comment.
me, Danny boy. I know what you're trying to do. I see it.
You're trying to bait Briz. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Yeah.
That's
I think
bait.
they're all going to do great, man. I think they're all going to do great. I think we talked about this last week, but it's like when we had that little pump and all the pulse stuff, you know, like a week or two ago, like 20%, EHEX moved up 20% too, you know, and we know that wasn't the sack daddy, you know, so it's like, why is that moving up? It's like, because there's opportunity there. And like,
Can we not spend the entire show talking about EHEX every week?
I mean, I'm just saying there's opportunity in all of it. I mean, I really do. I mean, personally, I'm heavier weighted in the pulse chain ecosystem for sure at this point. You know, but it's like, I'm not fading EHEX. I would not be surprised if it does very well. I mean, especially since Hex in general has gotten such a beating lately. They both have such tremendous upside. Hell, P-Hex was down to like 2 zeros and a 6 just like a few days ago. Like it got pummeled. You know, so I think that there's people that are fading Hex and they're going to regret it. They're really going to regret fading
blessing
Hex.
in disguise.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I'm backing up the truck on that shit. Are you kidding me? It's like I'm a dip buyer. You know, if I'm going to buy a dip to 28 cents, I'm going to buy a dip at 006. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you not buy at these prices if you bought ever higher than this? It just doesn't make sense. It's like, were you retarded before? You know, it's like, no, it's like, it's a better deal now, right? It's like, and you know, maybe we go lower. I don't know. But it's like, I don't regret any purchase I've ever made of any of the RH stuff.
Well, some people regret.
Well, I mean, if it depends on your mindset. It's like you got to go into it. Number one, not risking more money than you can afford to lose. It's like, you know, that's a good rule of thumb. Number two, it's like you got to have a long-term mindset on it. It's like you can't be. It's not a meme coin. You're not going to make money in 3 days and then bounce out of it into another one and just eventually get chewed up in the meat grinder. It's like this is it is delayed gratification, which I know is boring and stale and not exciting. But it works, bro. I wish Crispy was here. He could bring up 15 charts that would melt your faces, like to show you, like, delayed gratification and the power of the T-share is fucking real, and people have just forgotten. But
the chat's on fire.
Danny boy, I would say, I don't think so. This 50-week shakeout is proving some of you dum-dums can't stay retarded longer than we can stay solvent.
Right. Dude,
so there's this saying. What's the saying in the market? The market can
stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent.
That's what it is.
I got a T-shirt with that on it. But yeah, Kevin R. Yeah, 98% loss is all a mindset until you put math against it. And if you're staked, then
that might
you're
be
not down 98%.
Sarcastic.
Yeah, I know it is, but it's like I'm just saying generally for people that might not think so. It's like I'm definitely not busting on you, Kev. It's like I appreciate you being in the chat, but I'm just saying it's like if you zoom out and do the math on it, it's like, and this is like, you know, one of my proudest moments and like ever being on stream with Richard, and I was fortunate enough to be on a number of times, and I pitched an idea to him because he was asking people about their elevator pitches, and I told him, I said the thing that I tell people is what's great about Hex with, you know, an average 38% yield, that you are amplified to the upside and it's a hedge to the downside. And he was like, oh, that's really good. And I'm like, wow, Richard gave me some kudos. I'll take that. And it's like, and it is, because it's like, you know, if you do the math on that, if your average yield on Hex is 38% a year, Hex, and I get it, Hex went down 95% in the bear, and it's like, you know, we'll see how this all shakes out. But on average, if you're getting 38% APY on your entire stack, and Hex could go down 20% a year forever, and your fiat value would be the same.
Except for everybody who bought in after you, and they're screwed.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because think about it. It's like people that buy right now, if they're like right now, and let's say it went down 20% a year forever from now, but they had a long staking ladder, their fiat value would be the same. Now, what if we
could you imagine if it only went down 20% a year?
What's that now? Oh, I would.
Could
I
you
would
imagine
20% a year for pullbacks.
if it only did a
but this is
20%
crypto.
pullback?
Yeah, this is crypto, bro. It's a wild ride. I mean, you got to have ice water in your veins at times, right?
So yeah, I really like how nobody can talk shit on Tobiwan for like being such a hardcore graphite hand. Like for those of you who are new, in the past 2 years, graphite has a hexylene structure to it, and it is the strongest material in the universe or something.
That's
Strongest
why
man-made
beehives are hexagons.
material.
Mm-hmm.
That is also flexing why the hexagon is has a lot of integrity. But yeah, like so graphene or graphite hands, that's a it's like better than diamond hands. So like yeah, but who can talk shit on Toby for being irrationally solvent in hex because you know he was liquid at the top and didn't sell. So you know,
I personally have honey hands where I touch the hex and then I can't get
Okay.
the hex off of
It
them
just sticks
because
to
they're
you.
so sticky.
sounds non-family friendly.
Is that like
Well, it's just honey, you know. Honey.
Pooh Bear, right? Let's make it Disney, right? It's like Pooh Bear getting into the beehive. Which and beehives, what shape are the honeycombs? Hexagons.
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 Full circle, baby.
But I mean, imagine if Toby had like sold the top and then was coming on here telling everybody like be long-term minded.
Yep.
You know, that would be terrible.
Hypocritical.
I was not 100% liquid. I'm staked to the teeth. I had a huge stake come out right before the halving, or I'm sorry, right before the all-time high. So for that moment in time, I did have 20 million hex liquid.
Well done.
So, and I decided that
At
I
the
didn't need
top.
the money, and I threw it out.
Turned
to fill
down
a gap
$10
in my
million.
staking planner. Yeah.
Hexagons are also a natural antibiotic.
That's not true.
So if I rubbed a hexagon on my,
I don't have a medical
Well,
degree, by the way.
what?
We have
Dr. Brisology?
so to address the thumbnail quickly, because there's not like tons of updates on Pulse Chain Conference, but pulsechainconference.com blog has been updated. We have lots of really cool speakers already. Lots more will be coming.
Conference?
It is May 10th through 13th. It is, I want
month
you all
away.
to practice. I want you to practice the word with me. It is our first launchiversary.
The launchiversary. I like it.
It is a
Launchiversary.
launchiversary. So the
Should
first,
I wear a button-down shirt and a tie?
please,
Cool.
or a space costume, but more of a tie. And
like a
yeah.
tuxedo t-shirt.
I'm wearing a tie. So remember the first Pulse Chain Conference, we're already on our third one this year,
That's wild.
right? So the first one was the 1 year Sackiversary. Okay.
Right.
And then we had last year that was like in Austin, Texas, and at the Bitcoin conference, we did like 2 48-hour live streams. One of those counted as the Pulse Chain Conference, the second annual one. And
And got
now
to see
we're on the
movie.
third one. It's
Yeah,
our
got to see the
first
movie with a bunch of hexagons.
first launchiversary.
Yes.
And so it just so happens that it falls on really good days. It's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Monday is the launchiversary.
It's awesome.
It's gonna be cool.
Stoked.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, I think.
So yeah, I'm really, really excited. We're getting like donor sponsor people lined up now. One for each of the days. And, you know, soon I'll be opening it up for all the projects. Every single project on Pulse Chain will be invited to give a talk, you know, just like we did 240 people at the Hex Conference world record event for most YouTubers live. I mean, this is why Hex and Pulse Chain are true DeFi, is because we have so many people showing up to represent the community. So I'm really excited. There's going to be a special sign up form for projects so that, I mean, hopefully we get 200 projects speaking. And yeah, really excited for all 4 days of the conference that are coming up May 10th through 13th. So, call in sick now, call in rich, call in poor, whatever you have to do.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
That's right.
Now here is something that I hope I don't regret, but I already pulled the trigger. I canceled it yesterday. I was going to go to Santorini for Greek Easter to visit some friends that I haven't seen since before COVID. And I thought to myself, I'm like, that is not a cheap trip. Like and I would rather have that money to buy the dips. So
Whoa.
I decided I'm not going on an amazing trip to see some old friends. So hopefully by next year, it's like, I won't be, I'll be, satisfied with my bags, maybe finally.
Trade in
Stop
this
buying.
one vacation
Yeah.
so you can have 10 vacations later.
Dude, it's the same reason I'm not getting a new car. I had this conversation the other day with a friend of mine. My car is like 10, 11 years old, and it's still running. It's all good, but it's like, if I went out and bought, like, what I was looking at is like a $65,000 car, which is crazy to me because it's like, I'm frugal, right? But it's like a beautiful car. I was checking it out, and I'm like, and luckily I wouldn't have to sell any crypto to do it. But in my brain, I'm like,
I need to know what car.
it's a Mercedes CLE 450, I think. But
Nice.
they're nice. Or should be coming out later this spring or summer. I'll send you a link.
Is that a 5-liter V8?
No, they went back to a V6 though, so
All
they're cool. It's like a combination of the C class and the E class. But anyhow,
Gotcha.
it's a new class for Mercedes. But I thought to myself, I'm like, if things at least 10x from here, which I think is a no-brainer, is that car worth $650,000 to me? No, absolutely not. So it's like, I would rather keep that $65,000 and maybe use part or all of it to continue to buy.
Yeah, they got me with that one last cycle. I bought a used car for $8,000, and I think I dropped a couple million hex on it. So of course, a few months later, at the top, that was my $1 million $8,000 car.
I bought
I feel
my classic car, my '69 Cadillac. I bought that in 2016 because I was getting sick and tired of waiting for Bitcoin to explode.
No.
Guess what happens 1 year later?
Oh no.
Fucking Bitcoin.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But
That's
you know
an
what?
expensive one.
At those times, we didn't really know
Right.
about the cycles.
Right.
We were just, well, at that time, at that particular point, I still wasn't sure if Bitcoin was really gonna like take off and be successful.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure it was, but it wasn't until 2017 that I was like, okay, this is set. This is the future. So yeah, no, I totally understand. I was like, man, you know how much Bitcoin that freaking Cadillac could have been?
Right. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, man. I know.
But it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, it's a different. It definitely changes your perception of things. It's like, I mean, I was always frugal, but now it's like I'm even more like I can't justify.
Yeah, it sets you back $1 million hex. I personally believe hex is going to get to $1 to $2. So that 1 million hex is literally worth $1 to $2 million. Is that car worth up to $2 million? Come on.
Yeah. How much is 1 million hex now?
10 grand.
Penny, what's that? $10,000? No,
like that. I think no, maybe. Wait, it's E hex or P hex?
Come on.
The one hex. Tell me about proof of work hex.
$7 grand.
Yeah.
Where to God?
$7 grand for 1 million P hex.
All right.
$7 grand?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're at 007, which I'm guessing that's probably where we're at.
Dump it another 50% and I'll consider selling my used car for more than I bought it for.
Dude, it's the only way that I feel relatively good about how much money I threw into the movie is that I could have bought Hex with it at that point. I'd already gotten a shit ton, but I could have done that. But instead, I used my dirty fiat and put it into the movie. And then since then, Hex is down like 98% from that time frame. So I'm like,
crazy. Well, $1 million.
I just would have been wrecked on that too.
$7 grand. I remember.
$1 million.
when a million hex was worth one Ethereum, and Ethereum was worth $120
Right.
in the first month of the adoption amplifier, you could get a
Yeah.
million hex for
So
one Ethereum. 120.
people should have left more meat on the bone then, I guess.
Yeah, 7,800. Sorry, excuse me, 7,800 for a million hex.
Oh, hey, here's an important fact. Dex Screener is misreporting the liquidity of some tokens. So if you go to the blockchain and you ask, let's take for example like SolidX. I don't know if that's one of the ones with the problem on it, but for example, a coin like that that's relatively new, Dex Screener could be lying to you and way overestimating the liquidity, like giving 4 times as much as it really should be.
Really?
Well, something else with
There's
that
a
is
bug.
as the liquidity changes, it can take, especially
In
with
Dex
newer tokens,
Screener.
it can take days. It can take days for that to update. Like there might be liquidity there, and like if you go to the dexes and look, you'll actually see what's real. But it's like on Dex Screener, it might not show at all.
So
yeah,
this is just a general warning. It's not to say anything
Yeah.
bad about SolidX, which is actually doing okay. It's just
some eyes
to
on
say
Wall
something
Street.
about Dex Screener, which is a tool that almost all of us use.
Right,
I would say.
Right. Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, it's
so
it's
keep
always
that in
better to
mind.
look at the dexes that the liquidity is on to like confirm like what's what. And I mean, Dex Screener is a good like peak, but then but in doing your own research, you should be digging deeper and verifying everything, right? So is the contract verified? Is the code been audited? Like all those things, right? It's like that's why Hex is such a no-brainer. It's like triple audited code. It's like no admin keys, like all the stuff that we've been taught that like differentiate like a good crypto from a suspect one. So those are things that you should be looking for.
If the fees go high on Pulse Chain, will the founder trash talk Hex then on Pulse Chain? Like,
I don't think so. I mean, it's a matter of turning a dial. I think that was in an early YouTube video of his. Like that could be adjusted. No, I don't know
well,
if that's still
I'm just
true,
teasing, but yeah, I think Falcon Crypto says during COVID, I was selling 1 million hex for $2,500, thinking I would buy back before it would moon.
Right. Yeah.
Shaking your head.
Yeah.
Oh man, I shouldn't have sold
Why'd I
my
sell my
hex.
hex, man? Why'd I sell my hex?
George Chops says never delay catching up with loved ones.
Yes. True. But I'll be back. Hopefully I can go later in the summer, perhaps. I just right now,
Cool.
I couldn't make it work. There's some other factors involved as well, but it's like, a big chunk of it was just how expensive it was going to be. So
Stakes saved them.
So
Beautiful.
what do you guys make of this Nick Cherry situation?
what? Yeah, I don't know who that is. Like, what is going on with that? I've seen some.
So this is.
I didn't know who this guy even was until a couple days ago, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So apparently this is an account through chain analysis. People discovered that this person has sold like 10 or 15 million dollars worth of hex in total. They were an early adopter.
I saw a figure today saying $16 million have been sent to Coinbase.
Jeez,
And so this is one of the people who has made the most of hex, and really, if they didn't sell, hex would be doing way better. Obviously anybody can sell and all that, but this is somebody who is unknown to the community. So kind of somebody who didn't even have the decency to promote the product.
He probably never onboarded anybody.
But before I talk too much smack on him, if you're watching, like,
I'm sorry, Nick.
go ahead and donate to something. Who cares what it is? You could donate to anything in the community.
I heard he was a dev at Coinbase.
Yes.
Oh,
so
wow.
don't,
Really?
please, Nick, I'm sorry. Don't shut down my Coinbase account. I apologize.
Right. Yikes.
But yeah, it's certainly interesting to see that now he's gotten rid of all of his pulse. That's why we got the big dip here earlier in the week, or whenever that was in the past week.
Billions.
So
It was billions,
he's out.
right? Yeah.
Good.
He's out.
Bye. See you later.
As far as
Soon-
we know.
I heard he was like a top 5 sacrifice wallet, correct?
Oh wow.
Not anymore.
Dude, that's the thing with the shakeouts. It's funny. It's like it's a battle of attrition, right? It's like I
Yes.
think it's not like necessarily one big knockout blow. A lot of times, it's just a lot. Somebody's just punching you in the face over and over with a jab, over and over and over until you just quit. You don't get off the stool. You don't answer the bell. So I mean, I get it. It's like I can understand why there's people that are just like, you know what, I just can't take it anymore. It's like it's just been too long and too hard. Are they going to regret it? I think so. Especially if you've waited like this long, if you've endured it.
No,
long, it's like
I
it seems
think he-
bonkers to me.
I think he rotated money into something new and like has made tons of money off that too.
Well,
So
yeah, good for him. Well, maybe we'll bring
hey,
it back around.
Nick, why don't you come back with some of those profits and don't forget the one that brought you to the dance.
Right, redeem yourself.
Yeah.
How dare you? Yeah.
Don't.
What
leave
is
us-
what is this reference? He could be RH's Goldstein. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Accountants? I don't know.
It was Nick Cherry.eth was like linked in one transaction, which is how people found him, supposedly. But these chain analysis guys, I think they pretty much know what they're doing when they make claims like this. Like there's OG Faraday, and there's a couple others that are really hardcore. So yeah, Brisology, that's a fun thing that came out this week.
Yeah, and so basically what that means is that when Pulse Chain and the RH ecosystem goes up to all-time highs, there's going to be less sell pressure, which is great. That means more pie for the rest of us.
Yeah,
I
excellent point.
was looking at top traders for PHEX on the Hex Pulse pair, and yeah, it's like there's somebody that's pulled out $336,000 just in the last 5 days.
But it's kind of crazy that this Nick Cherry guy, he's such a big entity, and like I didn't even know that he was even a person within the ecosystem until he sold everything. And I thought I knew everybody here.
No, dude, there's so many that like you will never know and
That's
see.
true.
I mean, it is
A lot of
small
my
subset of
sorry.
idiots like us that show our faces and talk about this stuff.
A lot of my onboards, they're not even on Twitter. They're definitely not on streams. A couple of them are in the chat box, but almost like 90% of them I don't see on social media or anything. So I find that to be interesting. I think so what that makes me believe is that there's a lot of people in Pulse Chain, and they're just not very active, and that's okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's the majority, I would say, honestly. And then it's like looking at that same account I was just mentioning, it's like it looks like about 11 months ago, they were buying PHEX at 006, and then they dumped a boat ton of it at 008. So basically they waited almost a year and made 30% and seemed happy with that. Now, the good news is they rotated it back into Pulse. So they just basically, ended up selling, buying it with Pulse and then turning around and selling it back for more Pulse. So, they're trading and they're doing well. So the question is, how's that ratio look and how are they going to hold up? But that was the big candle down to 006. Like they pushed it down and then they shook people out. Because it's funny, like his sells stopped at 084, but then there's a huge wick down after that. So that's a prime example of whale games, right? People do a big sell to scare the piss out of everyone, and then they're like, "Oh God, I got to get out," and then typically they'll swoop in underneath you and buy it back for less.
Yeah, try to treat it like a cascading event.
Absolutely, yeah.
Panic
In motion.
I think in the case of Nick Cherry.eth, like don't buy the EONS name if you don't want to be known. Like,
Right.
also, if you work at Coinbase and you've extracted $16 million out of the Hex ecosystem and you accidentally dox your address by sending money to yourself at nickcherry.eth, then you're an idiot. And, it's like, it's not my fault that you were known if you signed your name onto the blockchain, literally doxing yourself and paying Ethereum fees to do so. Not exactly sure what the circumstances are there, but yeah, I'm a little butthurt that that I'm out here shilling Nick's bags, and what has he done other than gatekeep us at Coinbase and whatever. So
Yeah, that's
all
kind of
these
interesting. If he was in a position of power to like keep it from being listed while he was like, doing his his dirty DeFi behavior on the side. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's like, and taking profits is in the game. It's like good for him, if he got in
Sure.
early and decided that he wanted to move elsewhere. I sacrificed for freedom of speech, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and really, it's a good distribution model, right? It's like that distributes more to people at these prices that maybe are new entrants or people that are getting their cost basis down by buying so cheap. So he gave a lot of opportunity to people to get in at some good prices. So
I want to say to
yeah.
43OG, the reason why I'm upset is because Nick just signaled to everyone he doesn't believe in the thing that I still believe in. So who is right? Should I keep believing, or was he right by leaving?
you're both right. He elected. He had a choice to go elsewhere with his money, and that's what he chose to do. I'm in your camp, Briz. I think this is the place to be. So I don't know, but yeah, I'm not at 43. I'm not upset. I mean, you obviously made that comment before I made my thing. It's like, it's in the game. It's like, I mean, everyone wants to make some profit on what they're investing in crypto. It's not all, rainbows and unicorns and altruism. It's like, there's definitely a profit motive.
Yeah, and I just
No.
I just want to say real quick, I'm not upset. I'm just pointing this out. This is actually, I think, a pumpamental. Like I said, there's going to be less sell pressure when we get to really high prices.
No. Cope alert.
Hey, yes, that is right. Coping.
Yeah. Here, try this.
What?
Whales who are selling $16 million of Hex, be better. Be like the God whale. Be like the fire whale and take a small percentage of your mad gains and do something with it. Send it to Hex postcards. Make a difference. Show some gratitude for for all the people who are out here like shilling for free for 108 episodes straight, hours a week. Like for all of us, like, sure, it's fine for you to sell, but you can be better. And, so just be better.
I would like to say this. Also, you don't have to market dump all of your coins. You now have a way to turn your...
Yeah, how did that work out for BankX?
Not well.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, don't say limit orders. Don't say limit orders.
I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say there's a way to turn your PLSX into stable coins using the earn protocol. And so maybe use that instead. That way you're not market dumping. You're probably getting more.
No. I talked to Jesse. You can't exit that much yet in that protocol because there's not enough liquidity between that and the thing that you can actually cash out to Coinbase, your evil employer. So like I was asking how much can really be cashed out of the earn protocol, and he was saying like maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, but definitely not millions. Like this protocol is only big enough now for like tens of thousands of dollars to really be like pulled out by multiple people. So that's the reason why even sophisticated players will market dump is because they're cheating and they're weak-handed. They have lettuce hands, and they forgot what this was all about.
Get some honey hands, baby.
But that's what we need is more whales to like. All right, if Nick Cherry had sold $14 million and then taken the last $2 million and provided liquidity between Ethereum and EARN, or between like EARN and USDC, then that would fix the problem for the next guy, right?
Yep.
So,
Or he could have
like,
sold it for Pulse and then the other half for stables and then went and farmed. You know, I mean, there's so many different options he could have done to stay like in the system and like do better than chasing something else. But it's crazy too. It's like, I don't know what the history is with that particular person. If this is like not an uncomfortable amount of money for them, and they've done it with these kind of bags before. But I've also seen people that end up like with huge gains, and then they think they can go like double, triple, quadruple it up somewhere else, and they wreck themselves. You know, so it's like, you know,
no,
if
he
he's
did really
smart-
well.
Yeah, he's done so far. He's done well. So like whatever else he pivoted into, but it's like, you know,
Yeah, I
to
think
get
he
back
got
out
like
in
a
the
5 or
stables.
10x. So he's doing fine.
No, yeah, sounds like it. So did he pivot into stables or did he stay in that thing?
No, he went into like DGM protocol or meme coin or something that like did really well.
Well,
Nick
if he's still in it,
Cherry,
he's not out.
more
the
like
woods.
Nick Lemons.
Yo,
Got him.
clever.
Again, please, Nick, don't shut down my Coinbase account. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see.
Oh, where'd it go?
So,
I was trying to find something.
we might be going to war, I guess. Is that going to help the market
I think that's
hurt the
past. Are we
market?
not doing it now? I don't know. Is it back on? I heard it was off. I don't know. It's like gonna get some popcorn. You ever watch any George Carlin's old bits on that? It's like just basically watching the world burn. I mean, hopefully we don't. War is a terrible, terrible thing. You know, hopefully cooler heads will prevail. And but I don't know.
I guess
I don't know
the
enough
question
about it to
is
speak about it
will the money
intellectually.
printers get turned on? And will those, what's going to happen with that?
Right.
Will it help pump up the markets? Or, in my opinion,
War is inflationary. The world's always at war. The world's always printing money except for like really small periods of time called bear markets. So yeah.
I've always had the conspiracy theory that basically they create these like mega world wars to hide collapsing economies, and it just seems like every 8 to 10 years the economy tends to collapse, and in those same 8 to 10 years there's always a war.
Yeah,
So,
it's really messed up. That's why fiat is a broken system, and we need to do better.
basically what I'm saying is this just might be a precursor to a collapsing economy, like 2008 style. So,
I mean, like anything's possible in macro, but at the same time, the incentives are to keep like pumping and dumping the economy,
yeah.
right? So,
Yep.
I mean,
Right.
and AI is going to like, continue to innovate just like the internet did. It'll lead to like a huge boom that like the government is already cashing in on by doubling and tripling the money supply. So yeah, I mean, it's all a big fiat Ponzi scheme, but we can do better.
Yeah. Our made up internet money is better than their made up internet money.
Yes. Excellent quote.
Yeah, Grandpa Paul nailed it.
What do you say?
Wag the dog. Fog of War, if you're interested in a very interesting documentary about such things is great.
Uh,
Is that it? Is that all we got? Hell, we got another 30 minutes to go, guys. We got to regroup. There's got to be some more news, Manny. What's going on in crypto? Is there anything spicy or fun? I feel like we've taken a dark turn. Way to go, Briz, bringing up war. Jesus, man.
Come on.
I just wanted to know if our
Can we,
bags
show
are going to
some-
get pumped.
So I got a really cute video from a friend that sent me this one of a pug that jumped into this big tub of water and just like basically created a jacuzzi for himself, just running in circles. It was awesome. It made me smile today. So maybe that'll help you guys smile with the thought of
That's
it.
nice. That's really nice, Grandpa. Now let's get you back to bed.
Let me get my walker. I shaved off part of my beard. I'm taking it down in stages. It's at that time of the spring. And then I've got this thing going on that my fiance hates because she thinks that I look like I should be like in a Civil War reenactment because it's like maybe like in the background at Appomattox or something with this thing. So it's like, so next week it's going to be different. I'm going to do something. So something to tune in for. That's
you kind of look
exciting.
like a someone who's riding a Harley.
Like a gay Ulysses A. Grant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that guy was a drunk, by the way. Do a little research on the history of Grant. Yikes. But anyhow, I digress. We got any good stuff on the chat?
When highest of stakes 2? I think Toby should be the star.
I think that is likely happening. I prefer. I mean, this is fun because this is like me, talking about stuff with my real life friends, and then what the hex with Papa and DJ Cryptomatic. Very similar. It's like I enjoy doing that. Otherwise, I'm very content to be behind the camera and like let someone else have their face out there. God bless RG for putting himself out there like he did in the first one. But I think it's a high likelihood that there will be a sequel made. We're supposed to be having, well, Q1's already passed, Pat, in case you're watching, but we were supposed to have a Q1 meeting soon, which was like 2 weeks ago. And so that's coming. And then I should get some more information on like what they've got in the works in that regard. And I'll find out what I can share. But I know that it's something that they want to make happen.
I like how the highest of stakes kind of followed Richard on the first one. But I think the sequel should follow a actual investor that's been here this whole time, kind of like almost like that movie Dumb Money, how it's focusing on Roaring Kitty as an individual investor.
Great movie.
It is a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So who would it be?
Well, the community is such a huge part of the Hex story. I think personally, it's like
Nerd
if I had my druthers, it's like it would be, key elements of the Hex community, like known people that we've kind of grown to that we've been through this stuff with. It's like I'm not volunteering, but it's like I think Maddie would be a great candidate. I think Hexa would be great.
Oh, dude,
Maddie,
dude, let me explain to you why I will not be in the highest of stakes sequel. Okay, because they're going to film it at the top, and then they're going to show it to everybody at the bottom. And people will be hated.
I hope not.
No, that's exactly what's going to happen. I will be in the third movie because that one will be shot at the bottom. That one will, it'll be shot at the bottom or come out at the bottom when people actually need to buy crypto, not like at the top.
Well, I'm totally guessing that they would be looking at starting to film this summer and like leading up to the case in October, because it seems like to me that is a ridiculous opportunity missed if they're not capturing that. I mean, and with the meetup in October in New York, it's like I'm totally guessing. I haven't talked to anybody about any of this, and I'll find out if that's kind of on the horizon.
That would be epic.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they need to get that right. It's like to me that is such a pivotal part of the story.
I'm going to New York
for a sequel. I'm planning on it. Yep.
There are people flying in from Europe.
Briz, you coming in? You coming in for October 24th to be out there? Dude, you were on the street corners with signs about buy Bitcoin. You can't come to New York and support RH? What's the matter with you, bro?
I was on the street corner saying buy GameStop.
Oh, that was it. Well, even worse. If you're fighting for the underdog, if you're fighting for the little guy,
I
you're
ain't
supporting
flying to New York just to go to court.
Well, I mean,
Well, you're not going to get
other
in.
stuff to do. We're not.
You're going to
get
be
in.
like
I'm
outside.
not even
Yes.
gonna be able to get in. Now I'm definitely not going.
Is it not a? Is it not a public hearing? Like, there's not.
Oh, there's like 20 seats.
Well, that's all right. People
And there's
people
hundreds of
look at-
people going. So
Well, I
it's
might
going
get
to be really
one.
epic. But the only way you're getting in is if you go at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something. And like,
I could,
you know,
I could do that.
sit in the cold. And then if 20 other people do that, well, now you're not getting in.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to have like a rally, like a peaceful, like hangout.
Mostly
Look.
people.
Pulse Chain Tour is in charge of it. You can go to pulsechaintour.com and you can RSVP. I, was all gung ho over, they can organize this and I will be there as support. I'm giving out lapel pins to anybody who goes wearing formal wear. So that means wear a suit jacket. I don't want to see, I'm not giving you a pin.
Briz,
Ooh.
progress.
Are wearing like a tattered t-shirt. Like that's not
Right. No.
that's not
Yeah.
the deal.
No. We don't look good.
So there you go. I've got like
It'll be
100 to
good,
give
Right?
away
Like
probably.
Pat's there with his camera. It's like you want to look good, right? So
It's gonna be a good photo shoot.
I think it'll be cool.
Yeah. This is gonna be historic.
There's supposed to be some like killer pizza joints in Jersey.
Like
I'll have
for
to get-
the-
we can get a hold of Corey. Do like a
For the
little
history
tour
of
like, good
crypto
restaurants.
as we know it, like free, decentralized, meaningful crypto.
We should have
This
people
court
with,
case is going to influence everything.
Signs outside the court.
Oh, absolutely. Like if that's
Free
allowed,
Richard
then
Hart. Free Richard Hart.
True DeFi, like all that. Yeah, I think there'll be some cool ideas. Maybe we should talk to the Hex Postcards guys about like sign ideas.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Because I mean, it's like I think that's going to be epic to like be able to show that there's real people that are in support of this. It's like the only other thing I can think about is like people that were lined up outside of the offices of Mt. Gox, right? When they were trying to like question the guy, like, "Where's our money?" It's like, but this would be the counter. This would be the opposite of that. It's like no. It's like this guy's legit. It's like we know exactly what we were getting ourselves into, and we support it. And this is an overreach. So
Would it
we're
be
exercising our
wrong?
freedom of speech to contest it.
The
Would it be
movie needs to be
wrong-
there.
Would it be
Yes.
wrong if we sent the courthouse a bunch of postcards?
Yes. Don't
Yeah, I would
joke about that. We
would
need
not
to
recommend
be
we
very
don't
judicious.
want to.
You're right.
And
piss them off. You don't know.
There are plenty of people, lots of people listen to this show, so we don't want to give anybody any ideas.
All right.
Like,
all right.
Ideas, yeah.
Like that's why my thing is like, I will give you something of great value if you dress up and wear a suit.
There you go. Cool.
It's like
I'll
almost
do
like
that.
the Green Lantern where you get this special lapel pin.
Oh yeah. The lapel pin slaps.
I'm down with it.
W.
Yes.
I saw
So that'll be cool. That's October
That's a good
24th. October
idea,
24th.
trademark.
Be there. Highest of stakes. Be there. Yeah.
this
Maybe-
this
yeah,
little
maybe we could go to those
documentary
trucks.
by Tom Gillespie was actually pretty good. I found it to be pretty funny.
Yeah.
it was,
You got a
it
new
was
one?
pretty entertaining.
No, it's the original.
The original. Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny. It's like to me, I felt like the scene where he was being shot out outside the castle, like, was very reminiscent of like Monty Python type of
That was
vibes.
really funny.
It's like he did a great job with that. I really like Tom. He's a good dude.
I forgot about that scene. That was actually really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Lowest of Stakes is supposed to come out soon
That'll be funny too.
by Hexy
That'll be-
Bastard.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, his stuff's starting to come back around, so good for him. I was hoping they're putting out some pretty neat stuff. I mean, like ways to DCAN like automatically, and like, I saw Funding Jim tweeting about it, and I'm like, I need to go check that out. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many new things that are being built out to like make
9inch.io.
the system- Yeah, 9inch.io.
I like
So many
this
things that
idea.
are being built out to like make things easier and more compelling to participate.
Gillespie
great.
should produce the second one.
Yeah, right.
No,
There you
he
go.
can make his own, and they both need sequels
Yes, yes.
separately.
Tom should be in. Tom, message me. We'll figure out how to get you to New York. So
Yeah,
that would be cool.
yeah.
And then Trade Mode had a good idea about bringing out a gigantic TV and playing the movie. It's like I was thinking about those trucks, that you can rent that have a big video
Yes.
screen on the side. Yeah, that would be cool.
Again, New York City courthouse. Let's
Right.
not get too creative here. Like,
Let's keep it cordial, keep it low key.
dress up, behave yourself,
Yeah, that's a good plan. We'll see.
smile for the camera,
Yeah, right. Smile for
go
all
eat
the cameras.
pizza.
Smile for all the facial recognition cameras that are going to be like figuring out who you are and where you live and why you're there.
And focus on safety, like OPSEC, OPSEC
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely. Don't wear your treasures around your neck.
What?
That'd be a bad plan.
You mean I shouldn't wear my treasure necklace that I got?
Right. Probably not. Probably not. So,
There is
sounds
a
exciting.
phishing attempt going on for Hexicans. There were like 5,000 addresses that got sent a fake token that will steal all your money. So
Yikes.
watch out for that.
Yeah, I don't interact with
Oh
that
yeah.
nonsense.
Well, my memory wasn't too bad. Here, I'm going to show you the post by Das Bomb. 6,312 addresses holding Hex on Ethereum received a fake scam airdrop token. Do not interact with the token. Do not visit the website. Tokens will show up as sent from the real Hex.com contract in Etherscan, but the
Yikes.
transaction was actually made by a different address. Stay vigilant. Scam address was funded by a Binance address. I reported it to their support.
Yeah, Doss is awesome, and he's in the movie, and he is one of the admins of the admins. Like he and oh gosh, the name escapes me right now. Took over when I left the admin group for RH's admins, and Das Bomb has been doing a fantastic job, kind of holding down the fort over there. It's like that is a thankless job. Being an admin in the telegrams, especially nowadays, it's rough, but they are just constantly on top of it, like saving people and educating. So props to DOS.
I don't think you can prevent people from sending anything to an address. A wallet doesn't actually step in front of the address. It just displays what is inside the address. So you can't really reject airdrops.
Yep.
Not in the blockchain.
A contract can do it, and that's not a solution for the average person. But if we're talking theoretical situations, and then you've got a time pays me vault, which currently has a front end turned on where it's a whitelist of tokens. So there's different options out there, but the best thing to do is to not get tricked by corrupt Etherscan. And hey, have you heard that there's a new block explorer in town
No, which
for
one?
Pulse Chain?
What? No.
Yeah,
Really?
go
Not just a
Pulse.
copy? Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's live.
And so far, I think it kicks serious ass. I haven't
Really?
gotten to play with it much, but
I didn't know that was launched already.
based on what I
knew
saw.
they were working on it. Sweet.
Oh yeah, it looks awesome. So shout out to gopulse.com. And I think you just do gopulse.com and then /TX and then the transaction
Hey.
ID.
I just noted GoPulse has time pays me on there too.
Oh yeah, totally, man. They've had that since we launched.
Nice. Well, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
So just go pulse/TX.
What's
Is it like a
this?
landing page to put in the transaction address, or Oh, it's just right
Um,
on the front page.
yeah, there you go.
You just post in your paste in your address and right on. That's cool. Yeah, because it's like that's definitely one of the shortcomings of the scan.pulsechain.com is like that's rough.
Oh, it says addresses will be supported soon. Now you can just put a transaction or a block.
Got it.
Okay.
Speaking of Time Pays Me, there are a number of people who have figured out that if you create your own token, then you can lock the entire, you can lock a large amount of the supply in Time Pays Me, and then you can prove to everybody without giving them access to your vault and without just posting a screenshot. The developer Chris, who made hexsearch.io and is one of the 2 core devs for Time Pays Me, he made a function where you can check somebody's vault address. So, Naga Bo is coming out with a coin. He is going to lock the majority of the supply in Time Pays Me, and then he'll be able to give out his vault address, and anybody will be able to check using the Time Pays Me front end all of the details. Did he set up a recovery address in case he gets hacked? Did he really lock all of the tokens? What is the drip schedule or the hard lock schedule? So yeah, really cool stuff. And I think more and more people are, I'm already seeing the trend emerge that more and more people are starting to think this way. So that's cool.
Be a great tool for stuff like that for sure. Yeah.
And people just DM me if your token isn't on there yet. Like if you're creating a new one, it's not going to be on there. And then I will try to get it on the front end.
Sweet.
I don't really have that much more stuff. That's pretty much all I've written down.
Are you kidding me?
You bring notes, dude.
Well,
I'm like from the cuff every week. It's like it's obvious.
Brisology rocks. Yeah, he's comes prepared.
Brisology is prepared. Yeah, I
gotta
rarely
I got a
prepare.
clip to hold back, all the previous pages that I write down. So just I see something during the week, I make a little note about it. So
I got you guys. I can talk forever. So Vitalik posted yesterday something about privacy. We've seen Richard Hart post about privacy, and we've seen Roger Ver post about privacy. So these are 3 crypto billionaires that are all obsessed with financial privacy, thinking that it's a right of humans. And guess what? It only takes one of those people to, if privacy is launched on Pulse, look, this is my hot take. And Sami said it first, but then I said it second and he said it third. So I'm not really keeping score anymore. But the point is, you guys need to understand that if Pulse Chain creates an innovation of privacy, there are so many crypto billionaires that want that. I mean, it could like Pulse Chain could go nuts just for that one reason. Just because 3 guys or 1 guy want to use it because it offers some superior privacy solution. So, I don't know anything. I'm just going off of public information, but I think this is a big deal. And one of the first coins that I got into outside of Bitcoin was Mimblewimble coin, which is an old privacy protocol. So it's always been near and dear to my heart. But how cool would that be if the price of Pulse Chain went up 1,000x because 3 Bitcoin billionaires jumped into it?
Because Vitalik came over to the Pulse Chain? That would be awesome.
That would be more of a stretch than like Roger or somebody.
Yeah.
But look, those are just 3 of probably over 100, maybe even there's not probably 1,000 crypto billionaires, but there's probably at least a couple hundred. So yeah, I mean, that's all it takes is a couple guys. What did we see with the real Godwill? When the real Godwill came over from Ethereum, that was one guy that doubled the price and then helped create the entire bull run for Hex, getting us our 10,000x. So yeah, just remember, Hex and Pulse Chain are not. It's not hopeless. It's literally, you just have to keep grinding until you get these 1 or 2 people in, and then all the thousands of people that you onboarded end up doing super well. So there you go.
Yep. Like I said, we just need to 10x the community by getting 10 more people each. And then all those people need to get 10 more people. And by the time we get 1 million people on the Pulse chain, everyone that's here right now, you guys, all of you, you're all set.
And I'm actually arguing something a little bit different, that like, you just need 1 or 2 billionaires.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen at any point, but it's like, I would like to see more little guys like able to make mad gains. And then if that happens, great. You know, I mean, that would be pretty remarkable.
That can always happen. Like,
Yeah.
there will always be abundance and opportunities for little people. Not little, for people that
Midgets
that don't have $1 billion yet.
No. Right. Yep. Yeah, it's like, I think, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but it's like, I think it's going to be one of the, I don't know. Like, if you look back at the history of like Richard Hart's tweeting, and not tweeting, his live streams, if you noticed, he would kind of go quiet when things were not looking great. Probably because he hated that his chart was down, and also there just wasn't as much to talk about, and it was like, it just wasn't going to be as productive use of time, right? And but when things are rocking, like, he comes back around. So I think that that's a pretty good indication of how, you know, how markets work, right? It's like, there's going to be more people engaging when the green candles come back. It's not the other way around. You know, it's like, I mean, look at how, you know, many streamers have kind of fallen off, you know, during this lengthy bear. You know, there's not a lot of us that are like just still tried and true and grinding out here to try to, like, you know, keep people's spirits up and keep them educated and keep them engaged. When the bull market starts kicking off and some green candles start coming back in, there's going to be so many more people, and it's going to be like this exponential explosion of users, right? And that's going to do way more than I think any of us could do. Not to say you should sit on your laurels and not try to onboard and educate in real world, but a lot of that's going to get taken care of by the function of a bull market. You know, just like Richard would say, like, you know, the ETH gas problems get solved in a bear. You know, it's that. So you're kind of swimming upstream in a way at this point. And I think it's kind of like when you've seen the distribution of, you know, the SAC dollars, right, coming in. It's like, those are little tests, like, because Sami will, like, you know, point out, like, oh, it's like they bought it and then, like, you know, the market crushed it. Well, that's okay. It's like, that's testing the waters. And the way that I see it is like, that's testing to see if people are ready. You know, oh, you want out? Okay, I'm going to give you here's a little pump. You want out? Then bye. You can take this little pump and you can be on your way. How many people are still hanging in there? You know, how many people are going to ride your little pump and back down again? That's okay. And then you're just filtering down to, like, people that are really truly more diamond handed, you know, and giving opportunity, like Briz has said. You know, it's like the train slows down, so like more people can jump on, you know, before it really kicks, you know, into high gear.
Yeah,
Boom.
Exactly.
There's a new podcast in town.
Oh yeah.
Ben Armstrong got his name back. BitBoy is now legally his name again. And he started a Pulse Chain podcast after he made such a big deal that he was going to do a podcast about Hex. Turns out he's doing it on Pulse Chain instead. I guess he did his own research.
And his whole thing was, I'm only going to talk about EHEX because I'm comfortable with Ethereum. And now look at him. He's doing Pulse Chain stuff.
Yep. Well, he's learned, you know, he's learned
He's
a little
evolving.
more. So that's good. He's evolving indeed. That's good.
It's not even his final form.
So the first 2 episodes have come out. It's called Zone 5, a Pulse Chain podcast. And
Did you listen to it at all?
He's
yeah.
got episodes out already?
Yeah.
No
He
way.
interviewed RG3 and KDP. And then I was interview 5 or 6, and that hasn't dropped yet.
Yet. Right on.
I know Crypto Coffee was in there too. Corey Costa's on all of the streams, as is the Duchess of DeFi, Ben Armstrong's partner and co-host.
Zone 5, 3 days ago.
And
episode
Lover.
1. Sweet. I'll check it out. Yep. And there's KDP. Cool. I will definitely check this out. Thanks, Maddie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to it. Hopefully, I am energized with positivity that makes me want to go buy.
All right. I did not see the BankX episode of Lance speaking directly into the camera. That has nothing to do with Ben Armstrong. I've moved on, or Ben BitBoy. But yeah, that's also coming up on my list of bookmarks. Did anybody else catch the 17-minute episode?
No, what was that? Like, who was that?
BankX
Like
with-
BitBoy's old channel?
No. I've switched
He's like-
topics now. So
Okay.
BankX did a episode of their own without
Oh.
BitBoy involved.
Okay, on the same
I
channel or a
just
different
I
channel?
just dropped the link.
Okay, got it.
This is 4 days ago. How many views does it have? 15K views. So there you go.
Interesting. Yeah, it's still odd to me that they like haven't even made an attempt to create anything for stack
Right.
dollars. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
like-
Because it's like they tweeted something not long ago.
What do you mean?
Like, there's,
They
like,
did.
old
They've launched.
BankX?
Yeah.
What,
So we
backed
can
by
go get
silver?
stable coins.
Like actually
from
did
them?
something? I had no idea.
No, it's all these like. Look, I don't know all the details, but
Okay.
the first 1 minute of the video I listened to, and he's like, everybody says we didn't launch, but like we did. Here's the proof. But like basically they were doing all these like test launches that people criticize as like it's not a real launch if you keep redoing it over and over again. So
Right.
there you go.
Interesting. So yeah, but odd. Why would you have a big sell wall up if you're planning on actually using the funds to launch something? I don't know. Color me skeptical. But he's got his face out there, so he's not scared of being punched.
Apparently in the video, it was reported by Sami that that in the video, Lance says they have a limit order set. He iterates that they will not be market selling, and the order is sitting at 1 penny for eHex. So that is yet unresolved.
Yeah.
Maybe the market can attack it like a bunch of piranhas and
Chew
eat
through.
through it and send him packing with Nick.
Well, eHex isn't really close to a penny right now, is it?
No, it's like
So it's
double
more of a
0.16.
standoff.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
More of a
what's
standoff
crazy
than
is it's
anything.
totally riding that trend, the bottom of the trend line. I mean, it's staying right on it, which is kind of remarkable to me from a TA standpoint, like how consistently it's stayed on that line. Got a couple little pumps up above it, but it's like it just comes right back down to that line over and over. Go back and look at it again.
We're at an hour 53. So, the one topic that we don't talk about on this show is taxes. Yeah, that happened yesterday. Your taxes were due. So
That's true.
there you go.
There are lots of great resources out there for compiling your blockchain information for tax purposes. I am a proud American and pay my taxes according to the law as it's written.
Well
But
done.
everyone needs to do their own research.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
Coinbase has a tax thing. You just kind of push it calculates it for you.
Yeah, except Nick Cherry is gonna be fudging our numbers now,
Yeah.
getting us in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think he's got bigger plans. If he's got
I
That'd
just
be
want
great.
to say,
$1 or whatever. Yeah.
I, for one, welcome our overlords at the IRS.
Thanks
Happy
for
to be
the
much
your
higher.
1 day late
Same.
reminder. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
there you go.
Yeah, right on the line, man. It's like we were bouncing off it on April 5th, April 6th. We got that little push up, worked our way back down. Right on it, April 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, like wicks above it a little bit, wicks below it a little bit, closes on the line. It's crazy. So it's finding some good support, all things considered. And I mean, I think, if that does well, it's like I think that only bodes well for the pulse chain side even more,
Well, I know since we don't have ChrispyMan here tonight, and he sends his regards. I know that we don't have as many minutes of material, but I think we covered it. I think we covered what we had for this week. Do you guys want to tell people where to find you?
It's a slow news week. I think we did all right. I had fun.
We did great.
Chat was rocking. So
I think we kept it moving.
yeah, we did all right. We did all right. I'm on X at Tobiwan_Hexobi, and then here on Tuesday nights with Maddie and Briz and Crispy on Game Theory Gang, honored as always, and then on Thursday afternoons with Papa B and DJ Cryptomatic for a little TA with Tobiwan at 4:45 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
Briz. You can find me Brisology on x.com. Come by and say hi.
I'm coming out with something new that you will not want to miss. So turn on notifications and stay tuned over the next week.
D-side.
That's right. So until next time, stay wisely, my friends, and peace out.
Yeah.
We need
Good
an
one.
outro video.
Yeah, right. Outro.
As far as free coins go, everybody on Ethereum is getting a copy of every single coin on that entire network because I, through the set of my labor and my effort, am giving everyone a free copy of every single coin on the Ethereum network for free on a new network. You just literally point your MetaMask to a different server, and all coins are all sitting there. And it's been working great for months on testnet. And within the next month, we probably go to mainnet. And what are you getting for free as a Bitcoiner? You're not getting nothing. You know how much free money there is in the Ethereum ecosystem? 1inch free, Uni free, Gitcoin free, ApeCoin free, Hex. You guys, the only guy that hooked you guys up was me. I'm the only guy that hooked Bitcoiners up. Ethereum guys didn't get free Hex.